Give it like another 2 minutes. Probably got a couple people coming in. Seeing
Okay.
the floors running up right now. It's pretty
Yeah,
nutty. We're at like the lowest listings I think we've ever had at 179.
that is crazy. We got some diamond hands in here, that's for sure. I'll just give everyone a bit of a disclaimer. I'm recording now, so bear that in mind for whatever you're going to say, especially Jake, because I know he loves a bit of alpha dropping. So
Yeah, I'll keep it leak free today.
just little leaks, not big ones like usual.
Mm-hmm.
Let me get the other computer open to get the information up for what we're going to talk about. Well, let's get started. I'll type it up anyway, what we talk about. So if a few people miss the first little bit, we've got the recording, we've got the write up as well. So let's get started. I don't know if Jake, you wanted while you're unmuted, want to go through sort of what you've been up to the last week and what your plans are for the next week on the biz dev side, or if there's anything you can talk about at the moment.
Yeah, so I think a lot of this past week has just been continuing to hit up a couple different chains, a couple other projects that are building on Sui, and seeing what kind of integrations we can begin to kind of plan and partnerships we can kind of coordinate now, as well as just really coordinating with different whales and on what we're looking at in terms of liquidity for the pools when core does release. Again, for anyone not familiar, we're looking to push core around the second week of January. We have a number of things that are kind of happening between now and then anyway. So there's certainly plenty to keep everyone concentrated on. Obviously, the rollout with staking was definitely a relieving success. I know that we ran into some snags with like people not immediately knowing where the stake all was, or the like issue with different fees that were kind of getting hit. So we upgraded the RPC. And if anyone has like any other issues going forward, definitely let us know as soon as possible, but it should be pretty straightforward. Believe our metadata is also it's already getting updated right now, but that should be pushed probably around midday EST tomorrow. And so I've already reached out to How Rare, so they're ready to kind of turn that live. So I guess have your sniping bots ready. But I'll make an announcement as soon as that is pushed, and whenever I message How Rare, so you guys at least have like a decent time frame to know when it's going to be going live, because I don't want anyone kind of sidelined by different rarities that might come up. Outside of that, there's a lot that we just won't share right now. Want to keep things kind of still behind the scenes. I would say though that the next to roll out is going to be our auction house and raffles. So keep an eye for that. We're going to roll those out in a pretty interesting way. It's not going to be public immediate in the sense that like people won't be able to immediately create their own auctions or raffles. But just know that inevitably that is where we're looking to move it. And not even just like a quick jump from us to everyone, but really from us to holders being able to do it as well, and then to the public to kind of, again, really maximize the amount of excitement and use that we can get out of it. I don't want to give yet when exactly we're going to make the first auction and raffles live, but within the next couple days, I should know whether or not my plan will work. And if it doesn't, then it's not going to be very long anyway. I'm trying to have our first auction and raffles go live for a pretty exciting date. We'll have like a decent timer on them so everyone can participate wherever you are for the holiday. And what you'll be using in the auctions themselves will, I think, create some excitement for everybody. I'll turn it over to Searcher.
Awesome. So I guess you probably covered a few things that I was going to say from the community management side of things. So we had our Alpha Hunter competition last week, and that finalised, and we've actually put together a pretty good collab manager Alpha Hunter team of I think 5 or 6. We had all Sunday end up winning it because they brought in some pretty nice collabs with Motley Labs and Bodega Buddies, and a few more since that winning as well. So pretty happy with the team we put together. I see a few of those in our chat as well, like Bahamas, which is we've been working closely with. The staking dropped last week. I think in terms of staking, it was very successful. Not often you get a stake all option from day one or ledger support. We are working on getting the mobile integration up and running as soon as possible as well. What else did we do? You go.
Okay, fine. Peace.
Oh,
Bye.
someone talking.
I'll mute him.
We what else do we had? We had the Faction Council governance release. So that's one that I wanted to talk in a bit more detail on. We had this thought process to try and do royalty incentivizing instead of royalty enforcing, and one of those ways is through empowering sub-DAOs. Sub-DAOs are the hot thing at the moment, but I think a lot of the problems with sub-DAOs is they aren't empowered properly by their base community, and one way we're looking at doing that is through both operationally and financially through grant systems. So if you had a chance to read through the documentation, you would have seen that 33% of all royalties will go towards the sub-DAO's treasury. So this will actually allow our community to build things that they want to build, their vision, and actually have some resources to do it instead of having to try and come up with their own revenue generation from the get-go. So just a quick overview of it. It's going to be based off the 3 main factions, Arco, Othon and Mordax. And the reason for that is that we think it should be inclusive to the whole collection. So not just a small sub-DAO of maybe 5 to 10 people. It gets more the smaller the sub-DAO, the less interaction and activity you have within them. So the idea is to have these larger, more encompassing sub-DAOs that sort of play into our lore and the storytelling that we're going by. So we're going to have 3 council members that are going to get elected between now and January 4th. So January 4th, the elections will close. We've got campaigns coming up over the next week, and then the elections after that. So if you're interested in getting involved in something like that, it won't be, I know a lot of people are a bit concerned about the time-consuming side of it. I don't consider it too time-consuming, but it's a cool opportunity to sort of get hands-on with the project and be able to create something and build something and sort of get a feel of what it's like to work for a team. I think.
Yeah, I can kind of jump into that a little bit as well. So again, like Sergio pointed out, the premise behind it was you see sub-DAOs based upon different traits popping up all over the place in every collection, right? And the teams, the creators, typically don't do anything to actually benefit or empower those sub-DAOs. Maybe they create a Discord channel for you, but that's really about it. And I'm sure that there will be sub-DAOs that are created based upon different traits of our collection. And just like with the others, we're not going to create different channels specifically for those. There's not really much of a connection outside of just the pure enjoyment of those communities related to us. But we wanted to be able to empower people in a different version of sub-DAOs. So these are quote unquote official sub-DAOs. Again, it's not technically members of the team or anything like that. But in these official sub-DAOs, again, one for each faction, you'll be able to really organize the community based upon the factions. You'll be able to, like we said, take from the royalties through these different proposals and then the grants that we'll issue to them. And again, either acquire, let's say, a sniper bot, trading tools, indicators like wise whales, really just whatever kind of benefits your faction and the community at large. And I think in that way, again, we kind of give people the ability to essentially elevate their presence in the community that's still very early. And so while it does seem at first like, oh, okay, I'm going to have to do something, Well, only as much as you really want to take on. And then, I mean, the reality of that is if there's someone more dedicated, there's elections every few months. And so if initially you didn't get elected, you do have a chance in the future. If you see that a leader of one of your factions really isn't showing up, you're not locked in with that person or those people forever. We really wanted to create something fluid and that everyone really enjoyed really participating in.
Yeah, so we're going to be setting up multi-sig wallets for these treasuries. We're going to be setting up Realms DAO for on-chain voting. So even if you aren't one of the council members, you still have the ability to put up proposals and vote on every move that makes. So it's really a true DAO style sub-DAO instead of just a few centralized leaders. I would also recommend, if you haven't, have a bit of a look into the law, because the idea is that we did it over the 3 factions as the sub-DAOs because they all have their own individual, I guess, selling points or traits. So, for example, Arco's the science faction, so maybe that's something, if you're interested in building or dev side of things, that might be a cool one to run for. You've got Othon, which are the profit maxis, so if you're more on that trading or I guess investment side of things, that might be a faction. And then you've got Mordax, which is the what's the word for Mordax? Death is a scarecrow is their slogan, so it's more of the let's have fun, get rowdy sort of style. Maybe Snatcher might have some
aggro faction that I think, like, if you guys wanted, again, like a sniper bot, if you guys wanted rating benefits, things like that, all of those can certainly be built out. And I mean, even with that, a lot of it comes from those councils themselves. So again, if there's things that you want built, if there's things you want to build, if there's things you want to acquire, really the possibilities are endless in that regard.
Did anyone have any questions about that before we move on? But I'm always open to answer them in Gen Chat and Holder Chat as well. But feel free to ask any questions if you've got any.
I think part of it too that I want to point out is that we'll obviously be putting this out coming from the team like this and these kinds of different stipulations. But again, as this evolves, we want a lot of the community feedback to kind of help steer that, like from these again official sub-DAOs to the way that whale pools are set up, even as far as different utilities that we'll implement later on. So again, it's really to inspire involvement and really a proactive nature throughout the community.
Awesome. Well, maybe we move on to the next section then. I just accidentally got out of my calendar. So going forward, we've got the auction and raffle house, like Jake said, this year. The faction council campaigns, elections, then core early next January. We'll have more details on how we're going to roll that out and how the lending pools are going to be finalised for that as well. We're going to be starting some more games orientated events, especially once the faction councils are finalised, because it's 33% is the royalties that are going to get transferred to the multi-sigs for the treasuries, but there will be opportunities for certain factions to get a larger cut based on faction wars and faction events and games within the Discord. So keep an eye out for that. I think that's going to be a fun, events that'll be held through the Discord. Other than that, we've got from Gecko from the art team. I asked him what he's been up to. It's all very secretive at the moment, what Gecko's working on, other than he's building some stuff on the website, so working on the UI, UX of the websites. The other stuff's a bit hush-hush at the moment. And I guess the only other thing is, since we've got, a smaller amount in here, we do actually have a Twitter GC. So because you showed up, if you want to join the Twitter GC, because that's sort of more your style and your format, just hit me up and we can get you in there. But there is a limit of 75, so that's why I'm only saying it for this now. Oops, I forgot it's recorded. Snatcher's telling me to stop talking about that, but
It's all good. It's all good.
I was talking to Shafe about that earlier, and there is a limit of 75, and it's not to stop us talking in Discord because we don't want to have too much dispersion of discussion. But some people just don't use Discord in this day and age, so we don't want to cut them off from communication as well. That's all I really have, I think. Does anyone else have anything else they want to talk about?
I'll open it up to questions, thoughts, like how did everyone's experience go with staking? Anyone in here have any questions for any of us? I mean, we're getting lower and lower on this listing side. It's getting kind of crazy. I don't know what happens if you just have none listed. Does it just break? Magic Eden just catch on fire? Guess we'll find out. I would say as a side note, like, if you're staking right now, just watch what you're gonna be able to do with Talon fairly soon. Again, like when you look back on this at the end of the month, just think about the rollout of all of this, because we are hammering the expectations of what other projects have put out and the timelines they've put out. I think we're pretty much lighting them all on fire. But yeah, in terms of the elections, I guess as a searcher, I can ask you that. Do you have plans on like how you want people to campaign, how you want people to kind of approach what they intend to do?
Yeah. So we'll have I'll have another announcement drop tomorrow with a bit more details on that. We're going to set up a template. So we'll create a channel purely for campaign applications, which will be set up like in a thread format where you create a public thread based on a template that we'll provide in the announcement tomorrow. And then within those threads, people can ask questions about your plans and direction that you're looking at going down. But it's going to be pretty simple and basic, just your Discord ID, your experience, some of your proposals and thoughts for the faction that you are applying for, and maybe just some interesting notes on the side. Nothing too crazy. If you want to go crazy on the campaign side, more than happy. We can, if you want to set up some banners or flyers or stuff like that, that'd be cool.
Hey, I would say to people, have a purpose, right? Like, if you want to get my vote, you better tell me why you're going to do anything. So definitely have that in your intent.
Yeah. So everything we're doing from our end is bare bones is not the word, but it's sort of we're just setting the skeleton and the base. But the idea is for you guys to create your own thing. So we're not going to try and, I guess, put too much of our influence on how you campaign or how you run the sub-DAO, but we are setting those certain governance rules so there's no legal issues and sort of set you in the right direction, but we're not trying to, I guess, influence you in any way. Now, we had a question in the chat. Will higher class ones like Godfather and Warlords earn more talent through staking?
These ones up here.
Do you want to answer this one, Jack?
I don't live down the state of Mandy's house. So I can check.
Oh.
Simulate, drop a message in the chat if you wanted to get unmuted. You might have unmuted by accident. Yeah, I can speak to that. I don't want to ruin the surprise for everyone. So just wait to find out, but should be a close enough answer for you.
There will be incentives to hold, I guess, the S tier and higher
there will be
classes.
A staking reason on why to have a higher tier.
Yep, but that's all. Any other questions or thoughts from the community?
I saw one. I saw one drop in the chat there. Can you go over marketing the team has done? I heard about this project because friends got in, but haven't seen on Twitter. I'm also not active lately, so I may be missing things. Yeah, I think we've really been like cautious with our marketing, right? Like the 9,000 plus followers that we have, we've never botted a single tweet. We haven't paid an influencer. And I think that like our steady level of engagement and the lack of fall off that we see if we ever do like a giveaway with like in UDAO the other day. I think it's exactly because of that. And I mean, you can think whatever you want of a following count. I think like, especially like the people I have following me, like the mutual followers are the most important thing. Because you'll see people bot shit and one tweet gets 1,000 likes and there's not 1,000 people even actively in this space on Twitter every day. So yeah, I mean, I would just roll through our feed if you're ever looking for something like some information of what's happening. If it's not coming across your timeline, we don't want to like spam the timeline with GMs and just bullshit every day. At least from the company account. Because then it's just impossible scrolling back through where like the relevant information was. Of course, we retweet like the cool shout outs and stuff, try to keep the engagement high in that regard. Like the personal tweets, we want to really have them be the meat of what we put out there, and the kind of retweeted things, comments can be that. But I mean, we are re-engaging a lot of the Twitter spaces, so we have a number of those tomorrow. For example, we've got one with UDAO, and then immediately after that as well, I believe that's with Cool Time Space. And in terms of like our go-to-market for core, for the auction house, things like that, similar with, well, staking was kind of slow rolled because truly, I mean, transparency always, we weren't sure exactly the day we wanted staking to go out. But yeah, like I said, in terms of core, we'll have obviously a pretty lengthy go-to-market marketing campaign for that and like a post-release marketing campaign as well. And if you ever have any questions about marketing, suggestions about kind of engagement, definitely feel free to tag Light in the holder chat whenever you guys want. Again, Light's our CMO.
Yeah, so I could probably talk a little bit on the marketing side of things as well, because I've been talking to Light a fair bit about it recently. I think the thing is that, like Jake said, it needs to be deliberate and quality over quantity when it comes to marketing. So the focus has been on, like Jake said, getting on good Twitter spaces that have a high engagement and high number of followers, empowering our users and community that have followings or no following sort of thing, just retweeting as much as we can to get the excitement from you guys out there as well. I know Light is also working on some video content rolling out, and we are going to have a big push come into core as well, because a lot of people will be wanting to know what our utility is. So if we have a big push just before that, it'll build a bit more hype coming into it as well. But the marketing's definitely happening, and it's deliberate, and we're trying to focus on quality. So Staker asks, will there be any perks for holding all classes within a specific faction? That is a good question. I will pass that on
Won't
to
share
Jake.
what they are, but there certainly will be, as especially we begin to like break out more and more of these faction storylines and the kind of gamified staking that will come in the future.
Yeah, so the more classes you have, the more opportunities you will have as part of the gamified staking is probably the best way of saying it.
Mm-hmm.
I would highly recommend, if you haven't, have a bit of a look at FFF's gamified staking. We're not the same, but it'll give you a bit of an idea of sort of the style of direction we're going with the staking. Anything else? Anyone else on the team got anything they want to bring up, or something that maybe I've missed or Jake's missed?
There's if there's not, I can actually let Ziggy drop an announcement he wanted to make.
We got one more question, and then we can definitely do that. I've got a feeling I
Yeah,
know
sure.
what it might be. Will we be able to contribute to the liquidity pool for core? That's another good one for
Yep.
Jake.
Yeah, I can jump on that. So again, the way that liquidity pools are spun up are by whales. Whale sizes start at 50; they range to like 150. The whales will have the choice to set up a private pool or a public pool. There's obviously a little bit different dynamics in terms of like what the kind of splits are. Now, it doesn't change based upon like, well, 50 NFTs is a 65-35 split. Does that change if it's public? No. The only thing that will kind of go into that, just for any whale that might be listening and interested in creating the public pool, when you create the public pool, again, we're going to really be testing a lot of what we've built live with everyone in terms of the pools themselves. So, like, for example, like initially, I don't want to put liquidity caps on any pools, but if one pool clearly shows and clearly it's shown that, okay, we're going to manipulate the pooling and I'm just going to dump a ton of liquidity into one pool so I outweigh everyone else. We don't want that. We want it to still be as fair as we can make it without really putting a hand on a scale in any way. And it'll always go to community feedback, which I think the community will definitely voice an opinion if they're starting to see like one pool getting overweight and kind of messing with the other ones. And so, yes, short answer, there will be public pools. You will be able to contribute to them. And the whales themselves will kind of incentivize you to come to their pool versus another in really one way. It's just based upon like what their whale fee would be. Yeah, more details will be rolled out on that very soon. Especially like in the Git book, we'll have like pretty lengthy descriptions. I've updated the Git book with pretty deep descriptions outside of the complexity of public pools. I should have an update coming to you guys soon on that this week.
Awesome. Yeah, I think a lot of people are wondering that sort of thing. So there's definitely high incentives to be a whale, but there will be opportunities if you're in public. Ziggy.
Yeah, I'm here. Okay, so this is a small announcement. We will do it like this. I will paste a link in the channel meeting. You go to the bear game and there is open chat and then you will see the link. It's 2 minutes. Bear with me. So if everyone can watch it and then I will take questions. And
Do you want to share your screen and play a video?
Yeah, I can also do that.
Yeah, that might be the way to go.
But I don't know if the sound will hear, you know? Let me try.
Let's give it a try.
You can just voice it to us.
Me if it does hear. Does it hear anything?
No, I don't hear any of the video, but it's all good. Just let it run anyway.
No, fuck you, man.
Oh, is it sick?
I wasted.
I think I have to go to your sound settings. Voice video.
Yeah, I posted the link, Jake, in the meeting.
Yep.
Channel.
I got you. Yeah, all right. I'll stream my screen.
It looked good from the first.
Yeah, I don't hear it.
No.
No.
Well, I don't care. I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah, we'll watch it and then we'll watch it again after as well. Is this just you showing off your collection, Ziggy?
No, it's not only mine.
Oh wait, that was Schaefer.
This is Schaefer's.
Yeah.
in the past hour and a half.
So can you explain what's happening while we're watching this, since we don't have sound, and we'll watch the sound later on?
Yeah, so I created the Golden UGS DAO, which it's around maximum 50 NFTs, I think, that have the golden trait. So we will have at least two types of utility that I think about. Right now, I think we are around 10 people in the channel. So yeah, right now I'm launching it, and I hope when the auction house comes in, and when people see a golden DAO, a golden NFT on the floor, they'll fucking buy it, because I plan to go big,
Awesome. Love to see this. So are you going to be able to leak any of those utilities, or do we have to buy a golden UGS to be able to learn what it is?
Well, we will have a 24-hour sniper, and there will be the first 24 people that will get in the Discord, will get the role, and each of those persons will get 1 hour per day. And if the sniper snipes something in their hour, they will get all the profits. We will try to snipe the mistakes that people do, below the floor, and then instantly sell it for, I don't know, 30, 40, 50, 60% profit.
Nice.
And the other utility, I was thinking to make the same thing that UGS does. So we don't buy the NFT with 33%. We buy it with 1% each, and we create DAO wallet. And we need access to from all of us. How is it called, that wallet?
The multi-sig.
Jake? Yeah, a multi-sig wallet. Yeah, a multi-sig wallet. And we will, I don't know, we will not pay 33%, we'll pay 1% each or 2% each, depends on how we vote. And then we flip that for profit and do that as many times as we can. So we minimize the risk of losing a lot of money, but increasing the chance to get a good flip, because we will target big projects.
Awesome. And it looks like the floor at the moment to get into the gold DAO is 11 Sol. Is that right? I know you've got the traits ready to go. So I missed that one yesterday for 6 because I was slow and lazy, but love the idea.
Yeah, I told you to buy it.
Yeah, no, that's definitely an awesome idea. I think also like the way that you're looking to kind of innovate off of even like the tech of the core, or even build different things for the people. That's awesome. You should definitely run for you should definitely have a campaign for the faction council.
Yeah, for sure. I will go for Arco, I think, but we'll see how that goes.
Awesome.
But please watch the movie with sound.
The sound. Yep. I'll add it into the breakdown, because I'm going to still do a Townhall breakdown after this, so I'll throw that link in there for everyone to look at.
Very cool, everybody. Any last second questions before I jump?
I've got a quick question. It might be covered in the announcement and things. I haven't actually read through it yet. But with the sub DAOs like Modax, Ortho, and things like that, are each one of them going to have a liquid?
You got a question before we get out of here? You missed the whole thing. We'll post the recorded section soon.
Snatcher,
sorry.
Go
ahead. Simulate, finish your question.
Are each of
Oh, lost you there, Simulate. Are you still there?
I can hear Simulate. You guys might have. I can hear you, Simulate. I think everyone else can. They might have like personally muted. Unmute simulate. You might have muted him personally, but he's unmuted for the server, so you're good. Yeah, no, I heard your question. I mean, that would definitely be a really interesting way of setting up and moving to public pools. It's something that we'll consider, but in the immediate, no, because that would obviously kind of mess with what we've created for whales, and that's in that sense. But I mean, that could be a very easy conversation with whales that might be in those factions or might align with those factions, might like a faction the most, and they want to kind of transition their pools to public. But that would come well enough down the line. Because at the end of the day, like the same thing is created from the whales creating public pools. So we don't want to really break that model. But in terms of like liquidity for the factions themselves, there's nothing that we're going to do that we stop. So for example, if there is a faction council and the three of those guys have, I don't know, whatever it takes to make a pool, they can decide to make a pool that's public for the faction in that way. But that's still in line with like what we would find ethically comfortable. Like we're not involved in it. It's essentially the same thing as a whale, just organizing with friends and doing that. But it would be very clear that that's not something we set up.
Together in a multi-sig or something, they could buy 50 NFTs and set up a pool for that faction strictly.
Yep.
Cool. Yeah. That's the question I had. Thanks.
Yep, absolutely. Cocos, you have a question?
Nope.
Hey.
Well, we're hitting about the 40-minute mark, so that might be a good time to finish up if everyone doesn't have anything else to say, I guess. But great to have you all listening into the town hall. Great turnout, and we'll be doing these each week just to keep you informed on what we're doing behind the scenes and what's coming forward, and then for you to have an avenue to bring up any suggestions or thoughts or ask any questions. So keep coming. If you got any feedback on the timing, I know I pushed this forward an hour and a half from the last one just to try and suit Europe a little bit better because it was after midnight for a few of you. So if this is a good time or if it's a bad time, tell me in the gen chat and we'll try and come up with the best town hall time for the community. If it means we have to do dynamic timing, maybe 1 week earlier, 1 week later, so that it, at worst you're missing a week at a time. But everything's going to be recorded from now on, so it should be, you won't miss the information either way. Any closing thoughts, Jake?
No, that's all for me. Thank you everyone for coming out. And most mornings I jump in the Discord anyway and go live. So if you guys are here morning like as an EST, definitely jump on and say what's up, and we'll catch you guys on the next town hall.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thanks.